This is our project Optimum NutriFit, and our team is Buc-ee's Bucktooth, Beaver, Bytes. I'm Zachary Mays, and my partner was Joshua Palsis. Optimum NutriFit is a web app created as a means to log meals with their corresponding nutritional data. The app allows users to create a login and profile to store their nutrition data. For the front end, we used embedded JavaScript templating with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And for the backend, we used Node.js and Express. For the database, we used MongoDB and Mongoose. Our goals were to create a web application that can be used as a food diary to log meals and nutrition data such as calories, total fat, saturated fat, trans fat, carbs, fiber, sugars, protein, cholesterol, and sodium. We also had the goal of giving the user the ability to log and track their nutrition trends as well as their exercise and water consumption. And finally, our other goal was to present the user's data through a dashboard. Some of the challenges we encountered was the time. We underestimated how long some of the features would take to implement. And this relates to the scope of the project as well. The scope of our project may have been a little bit too ambitious. We ended up cutting certain complicated features, and other features like our user authentication proved to be quite a challenge. And finally, the last challenge we encountered was with version control. We were both pretty familiar with Git and GitHub, using it on our own, but this was really our first time putting those skills to the test in a team project. We had a little bit of trouble with solving merge conflicts and everything that comes along with that. So that took us some time to figure out, but we did eventually figure out and came up with a nice workflow. We learned a few lessons with this project. Our first lesson was that we should have chunked the project plan into smaller and more codable steps. Our original plan was maybe a little too abstract, and that made coding it a challenge. So if we had more hammered out steps and features, we could have coded them easier, I believe. Also, I think we should have focused on the front end solely at first instead of building out the API first. It became quite a challenge to go back and forth when we could have already had a working application with EJS. And our final lesson learned was the importance of version control and to commit smaller changes more often to avoid conflicts. In the future, it would be nice to add weight tracking, maybe create an area within the web app that allows for a user's weight to be added and stored and display the weight trends with a graph. Also, it might have been nice to save various meals and food profiles for future use, as well as a nutrient breakdown with visuals. All right, let's move on to the project demo. So I'm hosting the project locally, and at the slash route, you have our first page, and it's the sign up and login page. And we have some advertising to get you to use our app. Let's start with a sign up. We're gonna try this and sign up. And I just have Z money as my password. Here's our weight and height functionality. And then when you press sign up, it takes you to the home route for whatever user has signed up or logged in. And let's check here in the database that it actually went through. There's my most recent sign up. And so right here we have a table of meals. And at the moment this is hard coded. I tried to get the data to map out onto this table and I was unable to figure that process out. So that would be a future implementation. If we log out, it logs us out and brings us back to the slash route. And we can try logging in with that username and password. And there we go. Logs us back in. Now, ideally, we would want to have similar forms for adding food and exercise, but we did not get to those yet. But the buttons are here and able to be built out in the future. Thanks for watching.